How's it going, guys? Welcome to Onslaught Reviews. My name is Adam, and today we're talking about Tolkien. Alright, so for those of you who don't know anything about, who the hell I'm talking about, Tolkien, or J.R. Tolkien, was the author of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings books way, way back in the day. And this movie is basically kind of like a biopic of his life growing up and during his time in World War I. And I gotta tell you, this movie is not getting a whole lot of press, it's kind of weird, I only ever seen a few trailers, and that's just during other movies. A lot of people don't know about this movie, and I think that's kind of a shame, especially for, the millions of Lord of the Rings fans out there. They probably might not even know this movie's existence, but then again, maybe they do. So, without any further ado, because I really want to talk about this movie, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the story, because I really think the story is, just superbly done, and very flawlessly written, I think. Obviously, there's probably some embellishments within certain aspects, but what I really enjoyed about the story is the way they intercut his time in during World War I in the trenches, and just his upbringing throughout his life, from him and his brother being orphaned at a young age, and him and his brother also becoming a ward, and subsequently him meeting his lifelong friends, the girl that he would eventually marry and stuff like that. All that is intercut with this one specific thing that he was going through within the war. Basically, whilst he was in the trenches, he got really sick. He got a really bad case of trench fever. And he was in correspondence with one of his buddies who was also stationed along those trenches, just, way further down. And they were corresponding basically to make sure that, they let each other know that, hey, I'm still alive. 3 weeks goes by, and he hasn't heard from his friends, so he basically kind of goes on his own little journey to make sure his friend is still alive, and through that, you really get a sense of, his hardships within the war, and, the crazy stuff that he's seen, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but, it was really flawlessly executed, rather, the way they were able to intercut, the play between, his life and what he was going through at any specific time during this one, specific mission that he kind of gave himself during World War I. So, the next thing I want to talk about is the cast. Pretty much the whole cast does a great job of this movie. There's not one performance in this movie that I think is, phoned in or anything like that. Everything really works, they really sell the roles that they're given. But, Nicholas Hoult as J.R. Tolkien is so flawlessly done. This guy is an awesome actor. I've seen him in a lot of different things, from, a young beast to a weird emo zombie. So, it's really cool to see him play a role like this and really bring this character to life, and it was just awesome because, like I said, so many people are big fans of J.R. Tolkien's work. He put so much into The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, so much lore, and he talks about language a lot in this film, which is really interesting. He basically, for those of you that didn't know, he created so many different languages, both outside of Lord of the Rings, just, as a hobby, and within the books. So, this guy was super intelligent, and Nicholas Hoult does a really great job, bringing that to life and bringing Tolkien, back to life, as it were. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is how they were able to infuse, little small elements and little touches of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit into the story of Tolkien's life, basically kind of implying that little things in his life and his upbringing kind of influenced what would later become his work. And you see a lot of this in the scenes when he's, in the trenches during World War I. Where he's looking out onto the field, and it's just chaos and blood and all that kind of stuff, and in the distance, in the fog and in the smoke and shit, you could almost swear that he sees dragon wings and stuff like that, and weird riders in the dark and stuff like that, and very demonic kind of beings in the smoke and stuff like that. Obvious, things, referencing to Sauron or Smaug from The Hobbit, and all that kind of stuff. But it was just flawlessly well done. It really gives off a sense that Tolkien's been inspired to create The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings, you know, since he was a kid. He just didn't know what it was yet. He just saw all these things, and all these little things just influenced to lead to this one moment where he starts writing The Hobbit and everything. And it was just so well done, and it was just so artful and insightful, and I can't say much more about it. I mean, it was just great. It was flawless. So, as a Lord of the Rings fan, I would highly recommend this movie. J.R. Tolkien is basically regarded as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, fantasy writers of the modern era. And freaking, you know, this movie really kind of gives you a sense of who he was as a person growing up, and, you know, his values and stuff like that, and freaking, you know, the friendships that he valued, and freaking all that kind of stuff, and freaking really gives you a good kind of scope of who he is. And for me, you know, I thought this movie was absolutely amazing, and I would be lying to you if I wouldn't give it 5 stars. This is a 5-star movie. Alright guys, that's it for me. Freaking, if you guys like what you see, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Freaking, you know, share it around. Freaking, hey, also click that stupid little bell. You know, I don't know why. Just, you know, click it, you know, because you get freaking updated with stuff about me. And also, if you wanna freaking follow me on Instagram or Twitter, that's Adam_Onslaught1. Obviously, the links for those are in the description down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time with another review.